up.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger. Something unseen is slowly spreading its poisons, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You unlock this door with the...
What up, chat? Don't worry, it's not just Jim. It's not just Jim.
I'm here.
He's here. Nate is here. Nate is in the building. Hold on, let me fix my camera. My camera is all over the place.
Don't show your balls.
Well, I'm not gonna. That's no, I wouldn't do that. Alt, and we're already dropping frames. Man, okay, guys. Just to give you guys a heads up, I don't know how this show's gonna go. My internet, I had my internet fixed apparently, and then now it's just crapping out again. So be prepared potentially for the live show to end and us doing a pre-record and y'all getting our review, because I don't know what is going on with my internet. Spectrum is literally shitting the bed. I pay for like a gig speed internet and I'm getting 400 megs at the most. So if it's choppy, I apologize, and if it gets too out of hand, we may have to do a pre-record. That being said, let's talk about, well, for one thing, thanks for being here. I see everybody in the chat. I appreciate you. And I will get to your comments. I'm trying to readjust my screen so I can read y'all's chat because my camera's right here now rather than up here. So anyway, let's get to the show. Everybody, Joe, Patty, how y'all? And yeah, so talk about our show's sponsor. We have Collected Comics Games here in the DFW area. That is our show's sponsor. That is where Nate and I get our comics. It's so good. They're a great shop. I was just there today because there was a comic I forgot to pick up, and so I had to go pick it up, aka Wind. So I read that book. And yeah, it's a great store. If you're in the DFW area, go check out Collected Comics and Games. They have 2 locations, one in Fort Worth and one in Keller. Or no, Hurst. Hurst, right? Hurst, right, Nate? Hurst?
Yes.
Hurst.
Yeah, I think so.
Hurstish. Anyway, great comic shop. They got everything from new comic books, back issues, trades, omnibus, posters, trading cards, games, board games, action figures, models, statues, dice, D&D stuff, Warhammer stuff, plushies, snacks. You got it, man. If you can think about cookbooks, they've even got cookbooks. So if you're ever in the area, check out Collected Comics and Games. It's an amazing shop. They also have a website called staycollected.com where you get all those fun things I just said and store exclusives, and they even have a 2 Fat Guys Pull List mystery box where you can get some cool goodies there too. So head over to staycollected.com if you're not in the area and give them some love. Also, we got to talk about our show's milestone giveaway, which right now we're on the road to 1,250 subscribers. When we hit 1,250 subscribers, we're giving away this Uncanny X-Men #1 from 2019, signed by Jim Chung, 9.8 CGC grade. That's right, we're giving this bad boy away when we hit that sub goal. So if you're not already subscribed, hit that sub button. Also, when we hit 2,000 subs, we're giving away a Thor #1 Nick Klein sketch variant from the Donny Cates run, signed by the great one, Donny Cates. So make sure you hit that sub button. All right, going to chat. Joe says we should be used to the buffering lives after the Tyson Paul fight on Netflix. So yeah, that was,
yeah, amen.
That was embarrassing. I apologize. I really do. I don't know what else to do. I've had Spectrum out here. They gave us new hardware and it's still not working. So maybe I should just get like a new house. I don't know. just don't know. I don't know what to do. Joe, how bad is it? Is it pretty bad, or is it sustainable? I mean, I'm getting an error saying that YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, such as, let's see, open widget. Joe coming in with a super chat. Super chat. Lots of decent reads this week, even ASM. My top include Transformers. Starscream was awesome. Last book of Damien and the Hellion of Wonderhorn. Right on. Well, hopefully you heard me read that chat out. Stream status poor. I don't know what to do. The feed is sustainable. All right, well, we're just going to rock and roll. I'm just going to rock and roll. I'm going to bring in Nate, and we're going to have a good time. So, anyway, I'm sorry, guys. I really do apologize. I'll try to figure it out. I just don't know. I don't know what else to do. I don't know if it's clearly an internet issue. It's not a PC issue, because it's getting video to the internet. And I have my PC is hardwired to the modem, so it's an Ethernet connection. So I don't know what else to do. So anyway, all right, let's talk about this week's comics. I think it was a really good week. I had a lot of fun with this week's comics. Did not disappoint. And I'll be 100% honest with y'all. I've got 3 picks of the week. I have 3 picks of the week, and they're all Marvel. They're all Marvel for me.
Well, okay. I think that's a little bit of a stretch, buddy.
No, it's not. It is all the books that are my picks of the week were just that much fun. It gave me that sense of joy, that sense of like, no, it can't be over already. Like, I want to read more. And I think it might surprise you which ones they were. But we'll go ahead and jump right into the reviews. First up, we have Wind, The Power of the Blood, issue number 1. This is the fourth arc of of Wind from Tiny Onion. And this is the last book that I read. I literally read it like 15 minutes ago. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. I was a little worried that I wasn't going to know, like, oh yeah, that happened. But I felt like Onion did a really good job without really cramming it down our throats of like, last time on Wind. Like, we didn't really have that this issue. And I didn't know if I wanted that or not, but once I got done reading it, I was like, I'm kind of glad I didn't get that. I'm glad it was more of a just continuation of the story and less of a flashback, because some of our other Tiny Onion books that we've had have kind of been that, where we've done this thing where we're and I'm like adjusting as we talk. Where we kind of get that stuff. And I'm not a big fan of that. I think if the reader can like masterfully pull off a continuation of a story, even though we are, it's been a good while since we've had the book, I think they should be applauded for it. And I think he did a good job at that. I will say there were some instances where I was like, wait, who is this again? But I think my memory did a good enough job of being like, okay, yeah, no, I remember this. So overall, I thought it was fine. I feel like we're getting into more of the lore, even though there really wasn't lore. I feel like we're getting into the lore of Wind. I know that's one thing that me and you have both been kind of asking for, which is like, because we've had like maybe 2 or 3 issues where we've had that lore kind of piped in, and it feels like we're moving in that direction, specifically with the humans making the alliance with the vampires and the fairies still kind of recuperating from that massive attack, and like it just feels like an Empire Strikes Back moving into the Jedi Returns kind of moment in this book, but more Empire rather than Jedi. So that's what I took away from it.
Well, go ahead and
okay, all right.
We're literally, there should be 0 surprise.
That's
right.
right.
Like, this book is this book rivals Something Is Killing the Children. Like it doesn't beat it, but it is that close. Like it is so close.
All right.
And yeah, I thought we did a great job coming back from where we were. Like,
yeah,
you know, I mean, it's been a long time, you know, and obviously when it's been so long, we're not going to remember some things, and it's either going to be on Tynion or Tynan taking like extra time to remind us, or on us to go reread.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did not realize this was out until this morning, so I had to go. Somehow it slipped off my League subs.
Yeah.
It was in my sub at the shop. Like I literally already had it there, no problem. Just forgot it on me. Anyway, picked it up, and I think one of the things that makes this book really great is, as much as Tynan tells a great story, I actually think that Dallanias' art is more important in this book, because it gives this atmosphere that is so, I don't know, so uniquely Wind. And I think the book does better when Tynan sort of is the second player to Dallanias and his art. And like, you know, getting to see the sprawling scenes of Northport, which we've heard so much about in the past 3 volumes, of this town where the Weird Bloods are allowed to be open and nobody's persecuting them. And
yeah,
I really liked that. And then it's all the bright colors, lots of yellows and blues and oranges. And then you get where Wind is, and it's just with the vampires, and it's just all dark reds and black, basically.
Question: is Dianalis, are they the colorist as well?
Yeah, he colors.
Okay,
as well.
yeah, because the color is just, it's so vibrant and rich. It's so good.
Yeah, he colors as well, and then they have and World Design doing the letters. But yeah, I mean, to me, this is just, the atmosphere of this is so good. I just really enjoy when there's a good plot, but I don't know, man. His art just kind of settles with me in a different. It was the same way with Zawa. Like I thought, you know, even though that plot wasn't nearly as strong as this one is, I just had so much fun with it and enjoyed it because his art is so uniquely up my alley.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was exactly what I wanted. You know, this to be the start of the fourth arc. Kind of worried. I believe they said this is I think this is the last 5 issues we're going to have of Wind, but see if we can. Yeah, I don't know that for sure, but
I hope that's not true.
I hope that's not true either.
I just don't feel like you can. If that, I mean, I hope that's not true, but if that's the case, then we're never going to really get our thick lore book, unless Tynion like ends this story, and then we get like chronicles from the Wind
universe or something like that.
And yeah, because like that would just be, I don't know, I don't like that. I hope that's not true, because I feel like there's just so much more to cover.
Me too, and I could be wrong because I'm not 100% dialed in anymore. I used to read like his Substack like every single day, or every single time it came out. I was like dialed into what he was doing, and I'm not there anymore. And so it feels like, of all the projects he had before he left to create his empire, Wind has probably been the one that has been dropped off out of the ones that I would have considered his very best. Like even when Department of Truth was in a big hiatus, they had those in-between weird stories that are now collected in the deluxe editions. And you know, he's got a billion different things going. Obviously, he picked back up Nice House.
Yeah.
Thank God he's finally back. So I will be happy with what I can get.
I gotta wonder if it's just because he doesn't. I don't know. You know, obviously we don't know the stipulations or the words within the contracts when it comes to him publishing at certain groups, whether it's with DC Black Label or Boom or Image. Mm-hmm. But I have to wonder if he's just like, you know what, I'm gonna like finish off where I think they need to finish off, let the license, you know, dry out, and then grab them back up and put them in my own publication. I gotta assume that's probably what we're doing here. I just hope he doesn't like altogether drop it. And again, that's a massive assumption. We don't know. Right. We have no fucking clue. So anyway, Wind. I liked Wind. I thought it was good. It was fun. But there are other books for me. But anyway, Space Ghost #7 from David Pepos, the friend of the show. This was great. It's just a classic, taking a classic character and bringing them to life to modern comics. And, you know, I think another thing that this is doing is really doing a great job of propping up a lore that most people don't know. I know when we had our interview with David, he even had, some gaps to fill within the lore of Space Ghost, and he did his work. I mean, and he's a journalist at heart, right? He does his research, and I feel like he's doing a good job of bringing some characters that I didn't even know existed into a prominent space for people to experience, like this Animal Lord, or I forget what he was called, the villain of this book, which was pretty kooky, but again, it's Space Ghost, right?
Creature King,
there you go. So I thought it was cool. I thought, again, this is my Silly Goose Time book, just to kind of, learn new things about a character. The monkey finally having a voice because he's on the planet, I thought was pretty catchy. And him kind of being more of the star of the book rather than Space Ghost, I think
that was definitely my favorite part.
Yeah. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'm still really enjoying the book. I think, jumping from different storyline outside of Zorak. Zorak had a pretty prominent, at least 2 issues, if not 3, where he was kind of the center focus of villainy in Space Ghost. I will say I want to see more Moltar. I don't remember if he died or not in the last issue, but I hope that he didn't, because I thought how David dealt with, or just wrote Moltar, I really liked it.
Yeah, I did too.
I really, really enjoyed it, but I liked the book. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it was. I honestly really enjoyed the little bit of a nod to Planet of the Apes here too. I think David's pretty good at sort of doing little hints or nods to some of his favorite media elsewhere.
Yeah.
If you missed our interview with him, I briefly talked about how inspired his Darth Vader short story was by Aliens, because it's literally essentially Aliens versus Darth Vader, and who the fuck doesn't want that, right? So
yeah,
I thought that was cool, his little take here on Planet of the Apes.
Well, and if you haven't seen it yet, go check out our new show, Secret Origin, where we interview creators, authors, artists, content creators, podcasters, and it was a really fun discussion with David, and I'm hoping to get some more. I know I have an interview locked in for Thursday with another writer, Kevin Garcia, who has some independent comics coming out. I think he just had one most recently, this past Wednesday. I think it's World War Comics. And then some other ones. And then he used to do the info handbooks for Marvel character deep dives. So I'm super excited for that discussion. So yeah, definitely check out Secret Origin and check it out. And I am trying desperately to get more guests on the show. There might be a little bit of a lull after Garcia. I just have to wait and see. I've got some other people lined up, but we'll see if we can get them on the show. But I'm trying really hard to reach out to people, no longer on Twitter. I will be reaching out to people via email or Blue Sky. I don't know if we've got our Blue Sky set up quite yet, but I did set up my personal Blue Sky. I am no longer on Twitter, so that's how I will be communicating with other writers and artists. But anyway, yeah, go check out Secret Origin. It's been a lot of fun. It's kind of a little bit of a side project for me, and just trying to broaden the amount of content we have on here, not just our live show and our reviews and our new comic book days, but to kind of really dive deep into comic culture and into nerd culture. So hopefully you guys like it. Joe says, great interview with David. If I knew y'all was talking to him, I would have known how hard it is to be the last person to write a character out of Marvel, Conan, and be the first person to. Yeah,
bring in a new character like you did with the new Punisher.
Yeah, so he's doing a great job. I love David's so badass. It really kind of stunk that our interview had to come out after the election, and it was just kind of like I sent him the new interview, and I was like, hey, I know this kind of sucks, but here's the interview if you want to talk about it. I do not blame you if you don't want to promote it right now, but
yeah.
he was gracious enough to put it out there. So anyways, that was a good time. All right, let's keep moving on. Before that, we got so much to talk to here in chat. Let's get to chat really quick. So who said it?
So
Joe,
before you start reading really quick, because we're going to run into this a lot, we have failed chat.
Yeah.
you and I, as much as it's not necessarily what we were looking for, we should have read the first issue of G.I. Joe.
I know, and I had it. I actually had it in
I'm
my hand.
genuinely embarrassed that we did not do that.
I had it in my hand, and then I was like, I just got so many books to read.
I know, but this isn't just like a new side quest Spider-Man. It's not like this is Batman the Final Night Part 6. I'm sorry. Y'all please let us know how it was. All right, you can keep going.
Getting to chat, first thing, John says, look at all those 6-month badges. Thank you. We appreciate that very much. And then Lord comes in and says, G.I. Joe broke the budget. And he goes on to say that I grabbed 4 cover A's, 2 of a,
Jenny Frisian.
2 of the foil cover, 1 of the Finch, 1 of the Barhimo. You bought a shit ton, and you got a 1 in 100. Boy, damn, bro.
Oh yeah,
that's dope, dude. So yeah, then I grabbed the foil when I saw it too. I originally was not sure if I was gonna get it. And then back down to it. Yeah, G.I. Joe had so much variance covers as Dynamite Books does. Gladly they were backing off the number going forward. I'm going to try to stick to just the cover A and maybe an incentive. That looks cool. Empire says, any tips on getting out of a reading slump? I'm assuming you've stopped reading comics or having a hard time getting back into reading. Nate, I'll let you, because you're probably...
So my suggestion, the 2 things that always work for me, given that like sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it, right? But the things that have worked for me when I have tried are switching either mediums on the way that you're reading. I don't know why, but sometimes switching to a screen helps me. Or just switch what you're reading. Like if comics is not doing it for you, pick a book up. And I don't know, for some reason, I'll read a book for a while and I'll go, all right, I miss my comics again. You know? Like,
yeah.
That always helps me. Or the other thing is to just revisit something that you love. I can't tell you how many times I've opened the first volume of Something's Killing the Children, the first volume of Wind, or Jason Aaron's Thor. I've probably read the first 6 issues of Jason Aaron's Thor 5 or 6 times, just because it's a Sodrivic, so visually it's stimulating for me in the way that I enjoy. But it's just the gore story is great. I just really enjoy that one. So those are the 2 main things that I kind of get me out of slump.
I like your latter approach, which is just kind of switch up what you're reading. And if you're like, I think for me, it's okay to drop something if it's not engaging you. Like if I going back to our interviews, like talking to Chris over at Chris Collects, like you don't have to collect them all. And I've, there have been a couple times on the show where I've said, you know what, I'm out. Mainly Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man, I was like, I just can't do this anymore when it was Spencer. And then I jumped on the current run with, or it's over now, but the run with Zeb Wells. And like I got on it and then I was like, nope, I'm out again. And I think that's something that as readers, as nerds, as collectors, we have to be more honest with ourselves and say, look, like I'm not enjoying this. Like I need to go find something new. I need to go find something else that engages my brain in something that I enjoy reading. And oddly enough, like that happened this week for me, and we'll get to it, but I would agree. Like I would switch up what you're reading, or maybe read less, maybe only read a couple titles rather than because I think also grabbing such a heavy pool can be overwhelming to the point where like, oh, this isn't fun anymore. Like that can happen a lot. So if there's a book that you're kind of iffy on or on, then just drop it and come back to it later. And if it picks back up, go back, get that hunt on and try to find those covers again. You know what I mean?
This is the last time I will mention this, but if you haven't read Wind, Empire, I think that's right up your alley. Like it's so good. Just pick that first volume up, read them. It's got a really awesome little hardcover digest that's out there, just like the regular soft cover. You probably won't be able to find the floppies at a reasonable price anymore, just because it's a Tynan #1, I think actually Ron has a collection of the first 10 for like $60. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty good to have that number one in there. That's actually, but anyway, pick that up. That'll get you wanting to read for sure.
Yeah, and Emperor, I totally understand. You know, he says I still read comics, but I think due to the current events, I'm having a difficult time disconnecting, which I usually don't have a problem with.
Oh.
I like the escape. I've been reading manga; it helps. I totally get that. And
I need to take back my suggestion because the entire back plot of Wind is political and
yeah, it is.
Evil
It is.
leader. So
It is, but
maybe not that one.
hold on. I know, but I still think that there's resistance in that book. I think it's still
yeah. I mean, that's what the book's about is the resistance.
Yeah.
To
So
the
I
thing.
wouldn't shy away from it. I think that'll, if anything, I think Wind is a beacon of hope, in my opinion, especially with the light of events.
Yeah,
we're not really going to talk about that, but yeah, I totally get it. Empire, like comics have been a slight escape for me. Manga for sure. I've gotten back into building models, and then obviously doing these interviews with content creators. But I think the biggest thing, I think for me, and we missed y'all last week, and I apologize for us missing last week, but it is what it is. And there were some really good books last week, but it's y'all. It's this community right here that really, for me personally, helps me digest my day. That helps me kind of figure things out, and being able to talk to y'all and just literally talking to a camera and talk to y'all helps me. I mean, I get excited when we post content and see how y'all interact with it and if you enjoy it or not. And really, I think the best thing out of this channel is this community, especially here on Sunday nights, where we can just sit and talk and just jam out and not have to worry about what the hell's going on around us, and just say, you know what, fuck it. Like, we're here with us. We're going to be positive. We're going to talk comics, and that's just what we're going to do. So, but I totally get that. Lloyd says, ooh, if the last run of ASM sounded like the biggest troll. I would agree with you, and I only read like a quarter of it. I got out so quick. When they got into Gang War, I was like, out. I was out. Joe, DC is putting the company on his back, and Bao seems, I can't read this. Are you talking about Campbell?
No, I believe he's talking. Well, actually,
Dan Campbell. Dan Camp. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm looking up what Mark Waid said. So his Twitter quote, just for anyone that did. Mark Waid said, "Even if by some miracle around the election, I assume, I don't believe in the basic goodness of my fellow Americans anymore. And without this, I cannot write superheroes. There's no point. When you see a decline in the quality of my work soon, you'll be able to trace it back to this night."
Who is this?
Mark Waid.
Oh, Mark Waid. Got it.
Yeah. And then he said, I genuinely don't know how to go on. I don't believe in anything. Probably never made it. Maybe time to sell everything I own and retire here in California, where I'll stand the best chance of being received.
Wow. Well, yeah, it's rough. Anyway, if Wade bails, I'd have to think his career is over in comics. At least they have Snyder back in the fold, though. Yeah. What's Mark? Oh, so Mark Waid's doing. Oh shit! Like he's doing.
Mark Waid's is leading DC pretty much right now.
Thick.
Mark Waid's got his hand in a ton of stuff.
Wow.
But I sympathize with the guy, so I'm not going to find any fault on him. I would be very sad. I would be very sad if his comics faltered or he left, and I think that it would probably hurt DC a little bit. But maybe with the foresight, they could just kind of be like, "Hey, let's wrap your stories up, and we'll figure it out from here."
Yeah, he's just about to start JSL Unlimited. Like, there's a lot going on. Okay, let's keep moving on. All right, Transformers issue number 14. This was a fine issue for me. I don't know what I was expecting, because we had, issue 13 was the what's it called? The flashback, story behind Starscream. And then we kind of like did a little bit of that and then came into present day and with all the shit that's just been going down, which I guess I was expecting. I think I said that in New Comic Book Day, like what's going on with Cybertron, what's going on with Elita 1, what's going on with Optimus and everybody else. And it's clear that like we're still putting the puzzle together, even though we just threw it off the desk.
Yeah.
Like we're still, when's Megatron going to make a big triumphant return, even though he's still dealing with Cobra Law? When, what's the shit going down with Elita 1 now? Is she going to become a villain because she feels abandoned by Optimus? Like there's a lot going on. I think the biggest thing that shined for me in this moment for Transformers is Jason Howard's artwork. Like, again, kudos to this creative team for subbing in artists after Johnson jumped off. And, we had Corona on and now we have Howard. And I'm sure we'll get the guy that's doing Ultra Mega. Nope, gone. Yeah, seriously. But like, and I had a discussion with Ron today at the shop when I went to go pick up Wind, right? Like I brought up to him, I was like, what's up? What's the deal with these artist things? Like, what's up with this deal thing? The artist jumping off the books. And he goes, you know what it is? I said, no, tell me. And he was like,
James Herron.
James Herron, yeah. Listen, what it is, now, I think this is maybe part of it. I don't think it's the whole thing. No, at least I wish not to believe this. But he says it's Marvel saying they don't want another Image Comics. Essentially, they don't want these artists to become superstars and go create their own thing. Well, sorry, that's going to happen no matter what. Yeah. So instead of like being greedy, just leave the artists on the fucking book, please. But I don't think that's the sole reason. I do think it's time. I think it's deadlines. I think it's money. I think it's a lot of things. So I am desperate to get a comic book artist that has worked with Marvel and has the cojones, or DC for that matter, to come on the show and tell us like, what's the deal? Like, is it is it contractual, or is it budget? Is it timeline? Like, we'd love to know, because I think I'm not going to say that whatever the answer is going to validate our frustration, nor am I going to say that our frustration is valid. Because we don't know. We just don't know. But I applaud this group here for trying to find some consistency in the art. I think it's really helping the book. That being said, Daniel Warren Johnson's still writing a fantastic story, and I'm still engaged. Seeing Cybertron, that quarter of it dropping into the ocean, I'm like, oh, yeah, like, here we go. So I just this book is badass. I think currently it's the top book for me in the Energon universe, with Void Rivals being right under it. Even though I like Void Rivals and I think Void Rivals is doing more, I think right now Void is like kind of in this weird spot where it's kind of like telling a story but still trying to lay down lore, but for me, Transformers was good. It wasn't, it didn't like rock the boat too hard, but it didn't like, we didn't push really far into what's going on either.
Right. Yeah. Who's the character that turns into the gun that makes him?
That's Megatron.
He's just a gun?
He's just a gun.
Like forever? He's just a gun?
No. Okay.
Oh, so just like right now, he's just a gun.
In the original cartoon, he was a gun, and Starscream, like, he would literally transform and shrink, because if he was as big as he was and turned into a big gun, Starscream couldn't pull the trigger. So in the show, he would shrink down to a gun that Starscream could use. As the cartoon like evolved, he became a tank. But in the original 80s cartoon, he was a gun. And the reason why he was, and then again, you understand the lore, I would assume, with Transformers. Like, Transformers never was an original idea. Transformers came from Japanese toys. So there was a toy that was a gun, and then like, the US creators were like, we'll call him Megatron, and then and this one is Optimus Prime, right? So like, that same shit, like even with the Power Rangers, like, we were duped as kids when we watched Power Rangers. We saw American actors in high school, but then we saw Japanese actors fighting in the woods in Japan, putty guys. Like, it's the same thing.
I gotcha.
Anyway, you were saying he's a gun. Was that?
That's probably a little bit of a hole there because like I don't know this and it was not explained to me there. Like I had no clue. I was just like, who the fuck's this talking gun and why is he like, no, you must shoot me.
You must shoot.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? But okay, cool. That's fine.
Okay.
I think Jason Howard. It is crazy how they are consistently getting the perfect artist. There's no way you could have ever convinced me if you had told me by issue 14? By issue 14 we'd have 3 different artists. I would have said, "Oh, I'm not reading." There's no way. But here we are, and I think we'll keep saying this every week, but until they fuck it up. But hopefully that doesn't happen.
Don't do that. Knock on wood. God damn.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. No way, brother.
No way, brother. Anyway, so yeah, the fact that they stay consistent gives me confidence things will be fine when DWJ leaves the book. Joe, I don't blame them. The Image Boys screwed them over. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Did they screw them over though, or is Marvel creators by not giving them the proper percentage?
You broke up there. Like almost all of it.
God. Did they screw Marvel over, or did Marvel screw them over and continue to screw everything up for their current creators by not properly sharing? I mean, literally, Donny Cates and Stegman should have millions because of what they did on Venom. Millions. They should have. I mean, I genuinely think at least a 5% share of profits from the last Venom movie.
Yeah, even though they didn't do shit with Null.
Doesn't matter. They did do something with them. They used.
I know. No, I agree. I agree. I'm just saying they didn't do anything with them. Like, just
I know you're just not a big Donny Cates fan, so you always.
I fucking hate him. Like, I was kidding. John, I freaking love Starscream using the joystick to run over the dude when he splatted people. Like, I mean, you knew it was coming. Like, there was no chance that that wasn't coming. But that was still like, oh shit. I got burned out on Transformers. I'm still pulling them, but letting it pile till I get excited again to read them. I get that, Joe. I totally get that. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we're jumping over to DC with Absolute Batman issue number 2. I would say 96% of this book was really good. I had a timing issue. And the timing issue happened at the end, right? So we had the flashback with his dad, and then at home being all depressed and like getting fucking super A's and still being like, right? Batman, get it, totally. That didn't bum me out. What really frustrated me was, we've got Alfred just clocking Bruce on all of his moves, yet still being surprised. Mm-hmm. And again, 96, I'd even say 99.9% of the book I'm fine with. What really irks me is when we do flashbacks, and I know it's trivial, I know it's childish, but like, listen, when you don't put in the upper left or right hand corner, then, past, back in the day, right? Like, okay, Batman fucking uses a bulldozer dump truck Batmobile. You're like, oh, fuck yeah, right? And then, Selina? At the end of the book, I'm like, wait, like the momentum just like went out the fucking window, went with the Batmobile, just gone. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? Why are we back here? Like, it wasn't even like, and it didn't feel like it had any connectivity. Like, hey, wouldn't it be like Selina's sitting in his window going like with a dump truck, be like, wouldn't this be a cool car? Like, there's no connectivity in my opinion. Like, why are we flashing back right now? Unless I missed something. Tell me I missed something. Tell me that I'm dumb. And don't tell me I'm dumb because that's stupid and it's a stupid hill to die on. Tell me I'm dumb because like there was some connective plot point to go from dump truck to baby Catwoman sitting on his bed. Tell me I'm dumb.
So there's two things here.
Okay.
The one is your boomer complaining about them not being elsewhere in the past, or is like the reason why we have to have caution contents hot on like things that are obviously fucking hot. You're like, no fucking shit. You don't need to tell me this. And like, it's not only that they're flashbacks, but they literally change the entire color palette so that you know that it's a flashback.
know, but there's better ways of doing it.
But also, the non sequitur between Bulldozer and Selena is one of the worst turn pages that I've ever seen in comics. It's completely nonsensical. It's stupid. It's very bad. It's very, very bad.
Like, it took me out of the book.
It did too. It took me out of the book too. And then I was like, wait. And then I kind of stopped and then looked at the last page. And then I was like, oh shit, it's Selena. And then I was like, that's cool again. But like, I mean, I'm happy to see her. No. I'm not happy that she's in the book and that we get some kind of iteration of Catwoman. No, I'm happy about that. I'm just saying, like what you just said, it made no sense in the flow of the book. Everything, the whole book was shooting. I didn't care. Like when the book started with him in the past, like, okay, it's in the past, right? But when there is no connective tissue between Bulldozer going through a fucking wall and you're like, God damn, how can Batman drive a construction truck as his Batmobile? Who cares? It's absolute Batman. Great. And then we literally jumped to the past. Like it felt like, oh shit, did they forget to put this over in this section of the book? Like it literally was like they finished the book and they're like, oh fuck, we forgot this page. Just put it behind this page. Right? Like get rid of an ad and put it here. Like it just didn't make any sense. It doesn't it's not knocking me on Absolute as a concept. I'm still full board on. I think Absolute Batman should be Batman proper right now, not what we're about to get. And fight me in the comments. I don't care. Come at me, chat. But you know, it's just, if there's one way to suck the life out of the flow of a book, that's how you do it. And it was really frustrating. Like I did not like it. It pissed me off. Lord says, yeah, I'm not sure about the truck. I mean, it's bombastic, it's heavy, it's kind of metal. Yeah. So, but it's also nonsensical.
Yeah. 100%.
I also don't care. Like obviously the transition's dumb and like that, but I'm okay with, at least for right now, Absolute being silly. I think Scott Snyder did some stuff with, you know, Dark Metal and was like, I kind of want to keep doing that kind of stuff. And DC's like, okay.
I had fun with that. I loved Dark Metal. Was super fun. I thought that was I had a silly goose time with that. All right, let's get into these comments. So, or ain't show friends. Okay. How the hell will that big ass truck escape from the bad guys or police? The book is metal, but it's silly. Yeah, no, how silly goose time. I did love the poker conversation. That was the best part of the comic. Yeah, I liked seeing his rogues gallery being his gang in the background. I think that's pretty cool. I still need to see how Bruce can afford all this stuff. Who's bankrolling him? I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm sure we'll get it. That big ship is transformer. It turns into a building afterwards. Fuck yes, Joe. That would be so cool. Ends up being his fucking mansion. Yeah. That'd be dope. Anyway, I liked it. It's silly goose time. Super fun. Whatever. Green Lantern. I think I'm done.
Yeah.
And here's why. Overall, the concept in which... Okay. I promise we are a positive show.
Yeah, you literally started out talking about how much you enjoyed this. Had more poo-poo than sunshine.
So the reason why I poo-poo is because of how the way this book is structured. This book feels like a whiteboard, and it's like, here's all the things we're going to do. Like, this is how, when I read this book, that's how it felt. Like, we're going to go over here, then we're going to go over here, then we're going to go to do this, and then we're going to go do this, and then we're going to end right here. That's how, when I read this book, I was like, this is a clusterfuck of ideas. Some really fun ideas, and again, excuse my language, but it's a clusterfuck of a book. Like, oh yeah, Sinestro's a Red Lantern. Oh yeah, what's his name died, and now he's got this, like, he's like kind of supercharged. Oh yeah, we've got this villain that came from another book with Jon Stewart, and they're like a male now, but kind of like, are they a ghost? I don't know, but they're kind of doing shit too. Oh yeah, we've got the planet, the United Planets, and they're kind of fucking around. Oh, and we got Green Lantern wizards. And oh, did we forget about what's his name? The guy that turned into the White Lantern.
Kyle Rayner.
oh, we got Kyle Rayner, and oh, he's coming to save the day. Wait, no. You know, like, this was an absolute cluster of a book, to the point where, like, again, I said it in New Comic Book Day, I think Absolute is going to run my DC pool at the moment. Like, I will grab some mainline stories here and there, but they really have to, like, draw me in, because at this moment, I kind of don't care about Green Lantern. And that's saying a lot, because Green Lantern's my favorite character in DC.
I get that. I will agree with you completely on the structure of this. But I will say I did enjoy it because I like all the stuff that we're juggling here. And now, do I have deep reservations that we're going to be able to land what we're wanting to do here? Yes. So far, this run hasn't really shown me that we can land the punches. I haven't seen any great, landings on anything so far, but it's enough. It's enough to keep me excited. I really hope Kyle Rayner isn't just what he has been used for years, which is just like, oh shit, I know y'all are complaining. Here's Kyle. Just kidding. And it's like, well, wait, what? So that will be a big factor too. If Kyle if he gets kind of just dabbled, and then thrown away, that'll be a big hit.
I think that's what's
and I need some more Joe. Literally, Joe was mentioned by name in here, and I was like, oh god, we got Joe. But yeah, we need a little more than that.
Who's writing the Absolute Green Lantern? Do we know?
Have they talked?
I know they've talked about Absolute Green Lantern and Absolute Flash.
Super don't care about Absolute Flash.
I don't care either, but it's also I'm desperate to read DC books that I would enjoy, and I feel like an Absolute Flash book's gonna be cool. I think I saw some artwork for it, and I was like, okay, I can't spell. A B S
A B C nope.
L U Green.
Barlord. It's interesting that you say that because that totally makes sense, especially if you tried to jump on during his really long tenure on the book, because they just kept going with his stories, even though they were resetting. It literally just happened to be a new #1, but didn't restart. And confusingly enough, they did that through New 52. Like, New 52 is supposed to have all these new origins and restart and everything. They just pretty much didn't restart anything for Green Lantern. They just pretended like it was kept going. So
you're gonna lose your shit. You ready? In a good way.
Oh, the creative team.
Now let me read. All right.
Okay.
Absolute Green Lantern. No one in chat spoil it, please. Absolute Green Lantern, an upcoming superhero horror comic book series published by DC Comics. It's based on characters Green Lantern, blah 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 blah. The series is written by Al Ewing. The series focus on Joe, Hal, John Stewart, and Guy after a large Green Lantern falls from the sky, crashes a town, causing widespread paranoia. Joe is mentioned first. The cover is Joe literally flying with the ring going, yeah, like you're gonna fucking lose it, bro. Al Ewing.
Oh.
So
okay, well, let me go to my pool. Absolute.
I don't even know if it's in, because it comes out in March, so it may not even.
It is here. The first issue is here. Yes, pull it.
Sorry for breaking the show here for a minute. Lemir's on Flash.
Oh, stop.
Did I read that wrong?
No, that's what Lord
Jeff
said.
Lemire.
Never mind. I'm reading Flash.
Told you guys.
We have been a Marvel-leaning show.
Yes.
And I don't know, man. DC's kind of saying, you know what?
Well, okay.
Fuck it.
Now,
we're going to do some shit.
Okay, I see you're saying that, but we both know how they're going to fuck it up. Right? You're cooking all these books like, yeah, we're doing this. Fucking Batman's going to be in a dump truck, and Jeff Lemire's going to write a Flash book, and then guess what? In a year, there's going to be a absolute Infinity Dark Crisis event, Metal, That's gonna bring them all together. Like, god damn it. So anyway, Green Lantern
Just
sucked.
let me have it.
All right, let's move over to Marvel.
It didn't suck.
The 8 deaths of Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 61.
I read this. You mentioned it, and I thought, if you are thinking about picking up a... Oh, sorry, I didn't even see you push the button.
I know, I was just gonna let you talk while I played it.
Jesus Christ. I was over here looking at Absolute Flash. I just, because you said to read it, I read it. You going on about Spider-Man is very shocking, especially because you used to love Spider-Man and now you hate him. All right.
I am in absolute love for this book. Like yeah, Nate nutted over there. I just nutted here. Listen, I wouldn't say indifferent, but I'm like leaning towards, oh yeah, cool. When it comes to the artwork, I forget his name, the artist that did
Ed McGuinness.
Ed McGuinness. I thought he did a fantastic job. This storyline to me is what for me, this was Spider-Man. Dennis Camp is doing absolute Martian Manhunter. Jesus Christ. Stop it, chat.
What the fuck?
Listen, Amazing Spider-Man 61. Who's the writer? You just remind me. Like, it's something...
Joe Kelly.
Joe Kelly. Bro. I fucking loved this. It had the Spider-Man quips. It had Doom with the holier than thou mindset where he can't even take the time to fight off the spirit behind the Juggernaut and saying that he's not going to fight in this tournament, so let fucking Spider-Man do it. Loved that. And to see Spider-Man be deconstructed, then reconstructed, and then Doctor Strange going, hi. You know, like that that the Joker scene with Two-Face in Nolan's and he pulls the mask off in front of Harvey in the hotel or in the hospital, and he's like, hi. You know, like that was strange when he shows up to Spidey and says, like, you're gonna have to do this 7 more times. And I'm like, god damn, that was cool. And I think the thing that really sold me, I don't know if it was McGuinness's art or not, or if they had brought in another artist.
They brought in another artist.
That to me is how you fucking cook when it comes to bringing in another artist to convey a concept, which is the history behind this stupid tournament that Strange got us into. I fucking loved this. I had so much fun with it, and by the end of it, I was like, damn it, I have to wait, a week? Until the next issue comes out, because this comes out every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Could it not come out every week? Like, come on. Like, I am very interested in this. Yeah, that's all I had to say. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I'm not even a big Doom fan. And I'm not saying I don't like Doom. He's just not my top tier like character when it comes to villains, and I absolutely loved it.
So, I'm not quite there. I'm not there at all.
Right.
So, in one way, I saw Joe Kelly on this book, and I was like, bringing back a Spider-Man vet is probably a good idea. Even though Zeb Wells was a Spider-Man vet, it was like, I think it was, hey, like, Joe Kelly, like, y'all liked him. Here he is. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, James, I almost couldn't do it. The little fun between him and
that was stupid. No, get me wrong.
No, it was fine.
I didn't like that. I didn't like it. No, I didn't.
Between him and the Burning guy, it was whatever. But my God, when he went back to Maze and was like, I gotta buy all my money, I can't do it anymore. I was like, I actually want to hurt someone. I don't ever want to fucking see this Spider-Man story again. We've been doing it for 60 guys. I'm tired of it. I literally put it down and was like, I can't do this. And I read 4 more books and then was like, it's Dr. Doom. I like Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
See how he's involved. Okay. And I skimmed those pages. I literally skimmed the pages until Spider. Okay, that bullshit's out of the way.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how upset I was. But you read the rest, and obviously the flashback stuff to like Doctor Strange and Cyttorak and all that stuff was art was very cool. That is a great way to make it atmospheric. it feels a little bit like pandering. It's like, oh god, we got to get some time in before we get the new one and give them time to write some issues and get ahead. How do we do this? Well, we're doing that Doctor Strange thing. We got to force them into every book to get people ready for the big event. Just jokes. What are you doing? Can you get us 8 issues real quick on sucking, Spider-Man fusion? He's going to die a bunch of times. You're like, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. Hey, Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider, been through a lot, but it's kind of your like everyday hero. Hey, let's like rend him from, what did he say, from toenail to brain? And no, I don't need to see Spider-Man done like that. Wolverine, yeah, we can rip him to shreds. Like,
well, no, but we've done that a million times, and I think why I liked it was because Peter had such an attitude, like, oh fuck yeah, magic, pew 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 pew, thinking that he wasn't gonna get hurt, and then for it to get twisted on him and be like, oh, this is what happens, right? Which is, I literally get deconstructed and then put back together and go, oh, and this is my burden. And of course, I think someone said it, like, this is clearly Doom strategically doing this for his own benefit so that he can become even more of a baddie, which is fine. That's fine. And it's going to be on, and then Spider-Man's going to, at the end of the issue, the series, like, oh, I messed up even more. Like, oh, Spider-Man, and that's the campiness of it and what we're doing. And, we're all waiting for that shoe to drop of like, who's writing Spider-Man next? Like who's got the next ongoing, and,
who's the next person that's going to get murdered by Twitter warriors?
I don't know. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I don't give a shit.
You'll still hear about it.
You're true.
I'll leave it after this, but I don't know why. Maybe someone explain it to me. Maybe someone doesn't. I love when things change. I love body horror. I love, different takes on different characters. But for some, coming back to life and sinuous and blood and tissue, and you see his fucking rib cage and like his face is halfway sloughed. I didn't like that. I was like, not Peter. Anyone but Peter.
No, I thought it was cool, and the fact that it was Ed McGuinness, who I'm not like a super fan of. I was like, dude, chops, bro.
Yeah, but he's one of the best Spider-Man
he fucking
guys.
Killed it, dude.
What's up, Calvin?
What up, bro?
Glad you're here.
What? Okay. Am I not allowed to say hi?
You are.
All right, NYX5. The end of the arc. A lot of these books kind of ended with their arcs. No, I mean the arc. Like, it's still going.
Oh, damn! I thought you were like, this one's. Yeah.
No. Like, it's still going. It's just this is the end of this. I think getting to know the team arc. This issue felt a little too on the nose when it came to like the political climate right now, and I say that they knew that this issue was coming out around the election, so they were like, all right, let's do an issue where we're like, we're gonna fight for mutants and yay, and it's like, we won, and you're like, no, we lost. Like, it just felt like that. Like, other than that, it was a fine issue. Kind of seeing the team, part of the team kind of reject, I forget her name. I think is it Sophie? I can't remember. The Cuckoo sister that has rebelled, and her kind of get brought back into the group and saying, we know you were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, so like we get it. But I will say I'm still on NYX. Not as much as some of these other X books that are out. It's still in the pool. I will check out the next arc. But it hasn't met the fate of X-Force and X-Factor. Those are gone. Phoenix is actually kind of getting close to potentially doing the same thing. We'll see. But then I saw some preview panels for this next issue. I'm like, like we're getting ready to do some pretty big cosmic shit. So maybe not. But as for NYX, I think it's a good character study on all these characters that aren't necessarily X-Men proper. And I'm here for it, especially with Miss Marvel. Like, you give me a Miss Marvel character in a mutant book, I'm gonna read it. So yeah, like, it was a fine issue. The arc wrapped up. It was fine. That was me. You're not reading it, right? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
John says ASM is the book I will buy even if it sucks. It looks like it's trending toward not sucking, so that makes me happy. Yeah, I'm right there with you, bro. Totally right there with you.
Yeah, Joe, I'm with you about Doom too. Even though I am a be cool.
Didn't hear any
See
of
how
that.
it goes. Oh, Joe said, "I'm letting Marvel cook with the Doom event.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
trying to not get jaded and go along for the ride. I might get fucked, but if I'm going to spend my money on this."
So is the Doom thing? Is that like a Blood Hunt style event where there'll be like main books and then there'll be like a shit ton of side, tie-ins?
I'm not sure. I think it's going to be a little. I don't think there's like. I think it's going to be a little bit more. Trying to think.
Like within books.
More within, like I think there's going to be a main.
Okay.
Tie-ins, like 3-issue tie-ins. I think it's just going to. Let's go.
Affect books and stuff. Gotcha. All right.
I could be totally wrong though, because I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, we need to look into it. All right. Psylocke issue number 1 from Melissa Wong.
That's Jim's pick of the week.
No, don't give me that. Don't give me that shit. Don't give me that shit.
I'm going to give you that shit.
Don't give me that.
Okay, before we go further, I liked the book. I don't think it deserves a pick of the week. That's the only reason I made that face.
I think it deserves pick of the week because I think Quinnan, like, we got deep, we got real with her, we got into her past, her training, and then when those fucking kids showed up being auctioned off, she's like, nah, bitch, psychic punches to the brain for everybody. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, because I didn't know what this book was gonna be. I didn't know if it was gonna be, I'm going to do missions on the side that are too rough for Cyclops because he's a fucking Boy Scout. Or if it was going to be what it was, which was, Quinnan, you need to take a break because like you're human. You have limits. And she's like, nah, bitch. And she fucking killed. Like, I believe that the writing of Alyssa Wong has definitely hit a rebound comparative to her Captain Marvel book. I think her Captain Marvel book was it was flat. It wasn't good. And this to me is like vengeance. Like this is her quite literally punching the writing with this psychic blade that Quinnan has. And I think it's great. I think the artwork slapped. I was very impressed with the artwork. I thought it was good. I like this mechanic of this new group of villains tapping into this even less finite, more raw usage of mutant powers, and then some bozo being like, I'll just use them all, and slaps him on his fucking neck and turns into this grotesque monster. I thought that was pretty cool. And then seeing them devolve back into a human at that part, I thought was really kick-ass. I don't know. I think the reason why I hit pick of the week is because when it ended, I go, no, I gotta wait until December to get this book, and then I gotta wait until January, and hopefully the world's not on fire in January so I can read it still. You know what I mean? Like, it just gave me that lore that we had, that allure that we got when we first started getting into this. And I think that's, to me, that is the thing that gets me, it makes me push the button, like it made me feel, I mean, not quite as excited as when I first read Donny Cates' Thor. That shit was magical. I mean, I quite literally think that's what cocaine's like, blanket statement, but you know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. What this proves to me is that there are only a certain amount of writers that belong writing X-Men books. And I also think that I believe that this proves that there should only be one X-Men book that is dealing with a team. Not two. Shit, not even three. Or, right, well, we have 4. I think X books should be
5?
Individually focus based, and then there should be 1, maybe 2 books that deal with a team. And that's it. And I think Psylocke proves that. I think Alyssa Wong proves that. When you have a character, when you have a book that is solely focused on one character, you can deliver. Now, the other side of the coin of this, or the negative side of this, is, well, she did that with Captain Marvel and it wasn't good. So I think it's all based on the character and the setting and what you're doing. And to X-Men's credit, Jed MacKay has set up a storyline where authors can take that mechanic and put their own twist on it. Yeah. I think Alyssa Wong has done a beautiful job at doing that, dealing with this whole adults turning into mutants, whatever. And Joe, I think you said it right. Great issue, perfect side quest, 100%. And I think in this context, side quest is not a criticism. It's not a negative connotation. It's perfect. It's a perfect description of this book. Yeah. So that's why. Also, Quinon's one of my favorite characters, so that's why it's my opinion.
Yes, thank you for acknowledging that.
Thank you. Fine.
So overall, I was happy I read the issue. I'll read another issue. I like Alyssa Wong. I think that they can do great things. We've seen it in the past.
Yep.
I think that they're a really choice author for this book. I think that Quanon's history as a character, Alyssa's written characters like that in the past. I think the art was very good. I think the art style, not only was the art genuinely good, I feel like it fits the theme that we're seeing across a lot of X books. It's almost like they're using the same, like, maybe we need to see if they've got a bunch of colorists in the same, but it almost seems like it's got that same good but digital color palette. However, what is one singular thing we did in this book that nothing. Not one new thing has happened. Right. We learned nothing new about even the most basic. I feel like I'm on a scale of 1 to 10 on your Psylocke education, maybe a 5. And so there's still a lot of stories I don't know, but I knew all this. I knew her passions, her motivations. I understood how she would react to seeing those children. I know the flashbacks to her past. We did nothing new. I don't need a setup to the Psylocke character, an entire issue of a setup to the Psylocke character, who's one of the most prolific mutant characters in Marvel.
Yeah.
And so I wanted more of a reason to care for this book. If the art wasn't great, and if it was almost anyone besides Alyssa Wong, I wouldn't execute. Because I have faith in the team, I'm going to keep going.
I get that. I think for me, because how Quinon was depicted in the Krakoan era, which was just like a ruthless killer, didn't have much emotions. I think it was nice to see her in this setting. And when she lost her shit, when she saw the kids, I was like, fuck yeah. Like that just felt good, because you knew no matter what she did, she was going to come out on top. Like she wasn't going to falter. And I really enjoyed that. And like when she was, even at the first page you see her, the full page, when she's doing a backflip split in the air and then punching somebody in the head and the psychic blaster coming out of their eyes, like I was like, dude, this is so cool. So I don't know. It gave me hope, because I think, and I'm gonna be honest, I think X books are in a really rough spot right now for certain books. And mainly we're talking about Jed MacKay's X-Men. Even though it's evolving into something that I'm starting to get onto, it just had such a rough start that, other X books are picking up the slack, and I think this is one of them. Whereas some of the other ones are kind of flat. Like, Psylocke, yes. Storm, yes. Uncanny X-Men, 100%. Wolverine, nope. X-Force, nope. Uncanny
X-Factor.
X-Factor, hell no. Like, Phoenix, kind of teetering, but maybe, who knows? So, Joe, the problem with only having one X-Men book is the fans. The fans love the many characters, so you got to have many factions to please the aggressive fan base. I get that, but
that's why team books are more popular.
Yeah, but Psylocke,
you can fit more of them in.
All right, well, let's talk about hold on. Let's talk about Ultimate X-Men, and then we'll get to the book that I'm really excited about. But Ultimate X-Men, I think Peach she's been slowly getting us to a spot where I think the Marvel directive is starting to kind of inch into what her book is. which is what are the X-Men in the Ultimate Universe? How do they play in it? And we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. I felt like it was a lot more present in this book than some of our other ones. But we're getting more breadcrumbs, and I enjoy that. I like that we're getting more of an idea of what this Children of the Atom Church is. You know, we're finding out that like mutants are much different in a much different spot in the Ultimate Universe than they are in the 616, which is, it sounds like we're doing experiments on other mutants to create new mutants. And fuck, that sounds horrible. Do we believe that the dude in the bed with all the wires where they're getting their DNA, do we know who we think that is, or is that just a random mutant?
No, we definitely know who that is. That's Akihiro, who, I mean, Dakin is the main name we know him by.
Okay.
But one, it wouldn't make sense for him to go by that name of the origin of his original name, and two, that name also has negative racial implications. So yes, but that is Wolverine's son. That's taken.
Kudos to Peach for just doing it again, which is she's taking Marvel lore and she's just making it her own, and I have to applaud her for that. I think she's just killing it in that sense. So yeah, I liked the issue. I liked the little battle between the two mutants on the cover. I liked their battle.
Surge
and seeing her raw, unfiltered power and it using it, and then it getting used against her by her own body. I think that's a really neat mechanic. Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed the book. I thought it was fun.
If I had to have a second pick of the week, it would be this one. I think, yeah, it is. Might as well. I think that the reason why is, I think the story is good. I like the story. I think the surface is very good, but I think what's happening underneath, to me, is what makes this book go above and beyond. Is that we're somehow simultaneously to do her thing and give her the space to do her thing. We're in issue 9, and we're just now starting to see the scope of how this is going to fit into the bigger universe. But it's not just tiny pieces. Like it feels like getting some each issue. It's like, oh well, that was a good bite, and then the next issue is like, oh, that's like 4 bites, and then this issue is like, oh wait, whoa, like we're really doing something here. And I think by issue 12, we're gonna really see how. Probably by issue 12, we're going to be talking about mutant scale and the Ultimates and stuff like that, and maybe even bringing some mutants into the team.
Well, I know we're getting a year one book, right?
Yeah, and Camp's writing that one too. So I just really nailed it with this book by somehow allowing Peach to do her great, unique, and interesting story that is only Peach could tell. I mean, literally, they just said, "Hey, Demon Days," or that stuff. Like, that was dope. We just want you to keep doing that, but now it's gonna
matter.
It's gonna matter, and we're gonna have to do a couple of things where we dial you in. So you tie into the rest of the guys, but very little. Just pretend like it's not there. Just do your thing.
Almost nothing.
And I think it's been handled very well. Somehow, some way, the editorial team actually did right here.
Yeah, 100%. Lil says, here's the only X book that matters, according to Nate. The more issues released, the more realization that Peach's Ultimate X-Men is criminally underappreciated by the X-Men fans who trash down the book.
I would say that the importance of this X-Men versus any other mutant book is a very deep, wide chasm.
Yeah.
Not only in terms of quality, but newness, freshness.
I agree. All right, our last book, The Uncanny X-Men, issue number 5. Did you finish it?
I did. I crammed it, but I got it.
All right. This, I said it at New Comic Book Day. This is the X-Men book. In my opinion, this is the X-Men book. And the reason why I say that is this is where I believe Gambit belongs, where Jubilee belongs, where Rogue belongs, where Wolverine belongs, where Nightcrawler. This is where they belong. Wolverine does not need his own solo book. Rogue is about to get a solo book in the Savage Lands. Okay, great. I don't think she doesn't need it. She's here.
Yeah.
Tell me how to say the author's name correctly, because I don't feel like I say it right.
Of the book?
Yes.
Simone?
Simone.
Gail Simone?
Simone. Okay. She's
I got
killing
confused. I was like, wait, who is it?
No. She's killing it. And the introduction of the New Mutants, love them. I love how they're being used, even though we don't know much about them. And the fact that the next issue, we're going to get a really good dive into them. Hell yes. I loved this book. I liked how this arc ended, how we got to where we were when we actually, once all the pieces were put together and we find out that Sarah is just fucking crazy and she was in love with Charles and she couldn't get over the fact that he was more enthusiastic about mutants than a relationship with her, that she decided, correct me if I'm wrong, she decided to pretend to be pregnant, essentially.
Yeah.
And then found out that he was a mutant and he was like, psychic powers, you're not pregnant. And she was like, God damn it. And so then she turned herself into a monster because, her son later on died and she couldn't deal with it. Like, bro, crazy good. I think the team dynamic, I know you don't like Gambit and Rogue, you've had enough of them. Like, I get that, but I think they worked in this issue so well. I absolutely loved, and it's so depressing, when this issue opened up and you have Rogue going to a dialect coach to sound normal. Oh my God, right? And then when Wolverine catches it, like literally by sniffing it out, he's like, tell her to stop that shit. I was like, dude, like, yes, right? And then the Nightcrawler thing, don't you fight with swords? No, I'm more of a pacifist than I thought. Like, yes, dude. Like, I just think this book has, and I'm not trying to shit on anything, but I believe this book has more character than the current X-Men book. And that's not shitting on Jed MacKay. I think he has a monumental task, and that allows Simone to write this book, in my opinion. Seeing the mutants, the new mutants that they have, go all out and like have their day in court, like, loved it. I don't know. I liked it. And then I liked Rogue's threat. And it's not an empty threat to the group that's taking over the X-Men Manor. Like, we're coming back for our shit. I was like, oh, here we go.
Which we know is clearly happening.
Right. And then the dialogue between Rogue and the boy who was set up in the first issue, and we were like, what was that shit about? Here it is. And like, I nearly cried. I'm not kidding. I nearly cried.
Yeah, it was powerful
because he's like, I knew this was going to happen. And I'm here to help you. I'm like, oh my God, he's an X-Men. He's an X-Men. And then he fades off and just fades away. And you're like, damn, son. Yeah. Like, and also, like, we know Rogue's arm isn't going to be destroyed forever, but to use that mechanic of how she gets healed, I'm like, that's fucking cool. Like, we knew it was going to happen in a campy way, but to do it in that emotional spectrum, down.
That's cool.
So, I don't know. I loved it. I thought the book was great. I am all in. DC can get mad at me for saying that, but I am all in on Simone's version of Uncanny X-Men. I thought it was a great issue. So
yeah, I'm glad I was able to get it in before little things too. Like, this is a serious issue that tackles big things, but Simone also has a really good way of like sneaking in some fun humor, even if it's not like laugh out loud. But like I can never remember these new characters' names, so I'm not. They have it on the front. Death Dream. Like, they're talking about like, this is it. Like, bad things could happen. Like, now or never. And Death Dream was literally like, I'm dead half the time anyway. I'm good. Just like, okay. And then literally the next panel is Juggernaut riding a flaming horse while he is also on fire. Awesome. Love it. Yes, please. And the artwork on this is really good. So, and I agree. This team is so, even with me not liking Rogue Gambit, like, it's really, I mean, Rogue on her own is much better, but Rogue and Gambit, that's not what I'm saying though, because I like the team. I think the team is a good makeup. Even though these are overused characters, they feel like a band of misfits, and that's in a good way.
Well, and I like that they feel like what's the word? Not unconventional. Not official. Unofficially, the mom and dad of the group, right? Like Rogue's mama, and Gambit's dada, and you don't fuck with the kids, bro. Like, and they're gonna, to see Gambit use the other eye of Agamotto or however you say it, like, dope. I don't know. You just don't fuck with Rogue. You just don't do it. And the other thing that I really liked is I felt like Wolverine was much more impactful in this than in his current book, which is him blind and him still kicking ass with the use of his smell and hearing. Like, dude, so kick ass.
Yeah.
And even to see Jubilee have a voice in the book and her going like, been here before. I don't know if we're going to make it out. Like, I loved that. I don't know. It had everything going for it. It had the tone. It had the sequencing, it had the pacing, the artwork was great, the coloring, like you said before in the other books, like there is something going on where they're like, all right, here's the palette, this is what we're gonna do. It was great. I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. Lord says, talking about Ultimate, except for Ultimate Wolverine, I am actually kind of excited for that. He looks pretty dope. Joe, pick of the week for me, killing off the kid in the issue 1 broke me, but also upset me because I thought it was cheap, but to tie it back with the moment really broke me. Perfect first arc. She was always a witch, right? I believe so. I think so. I think so. Little said, I gave Ultimate Wolverine a hold. I'm going to wait for the issue to arrive to see how different it compares to the regular Wolverine. Okay. It sounds like he's basically the Winter Soldier. Okay. What's your thoughts on the Resurrection Protocol is coming back to kill them? Oh, with so we didn't talk about that in last week's X-Men run with McKay. The reason why we found out why Magneto was in his chair, why he's in the chair, which is they're using the mechanic of the Resurrection Protocol, essentially making their powers like turn up to 11 to the point where they can't control them. I don't know. I'm not. It doesn't upset me, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I guess that works.